Welcome back everybody to JOHS Literacy Bites, where every teacher can become a literacy teacher in 5 minutes or less. Today's topic, norm grading and teacher teams, part 2, practice. Today we're following up last week's introduction to norm grading by practicing scoring calibration using a rubric. You and your Content PLC team members will look at 4 student work samples from a hypothetical Socratic seminar reflection assignment, grading each one individually before sharing and discussing how you each applied the rubric to evaluate the student work samples. But first, let's review last week's learning. We learned that any teacher team can use norm grading to score student work with more consistency and accuracy. You and your teammates can follow these 8 steps to calibrate scoring, starting with agreeing on a shared assignment and rubric, bringing in anonymized samples of student work, scoring individually, sharing how you scored the work with your teammates, holding a dialogue around discrepancies in grading, reaching a consensus, debriefing, and finally, scoring your remaining student work. So what we'll do today is use this hypothetical assignment to practice norm grading with your teacher teams. It's a reflection prompt, so even though we all teach different content areas, the type of student work you see here should be applicable. In this case, students are asked to write a reflection on their participation in a Socratic seminar discussion they had after reading an article about ecological succession at Mount St. Helens. To give the non-science teachers a frame of reference, you can see the process of ecological succession in the photos on the right, with vegetation coming back after much of the ecosystem was destroyed by the volcano's eruption. In this reflection, students had to write 3 paragraphs, one about their own personal experiences during the Socratic seminar, one about the content discussed during the activity, and one in which they identify some future goals. Here's the rubric you'll be using to evaluate each student work sample. Please pause the video and read the standard of excellence for each of the 3 rubric categories, and then review each proficiency level. All right, here's the first student response. Take a second to pause the video and read the student sample. You'll then score the work individually, share your scores with your team, and then hash out any discrepancies. Here's the second example. Once again, please pause the video to review and score the work individually before sharing and discussing your grading with your colleagues. And here's the third of 4 examples. Please pause the video to repeat the same process as the previous 2. Okay, here's the last one. Please take a second to pause, grade the work, and calibrate your scoring with your team. And that's it for today. Thanks, everybody. As a bridge to practice, if you will please discuss these 3 questions with your colleagues.